The old sign creaked in the wind. Funland, it read, but the paint was peeling like a wicked smile. We called ourselves the Stromedy Squad, me, Maya, Leo, and Chloe. We loved a good scare, and this place was the jackpot. The gate was locked tight with a rusty chain, but Leo, ever the prepared one, had bolt cutters. With a loud snap, the chain fell to the ground. We were in. The air immediately felt colder, heavier, as if the silence itself was watching us. It was supposed to be fun, right? A little adventure. But a shiver crawled down my spine, a nasty little bug telling me to run. We stepped onto the main path. The ground crunched under our sneakers, covered in dead leaves and forgotten dreams. A Ferris wheel stood against the gray sky, a skeleton of twisted metal. Its empty cars swayed back and forth, making a groaning sound that echoed through the park. To our left, a carousel with faded, chipped horses seemed to stare at us with glassy eyes. Maya pulled her flashlight from her bag, its beam cutting through the gloom. "Creepy," she whispered, her voice barely a breath. We all nodded, sticking close together. The feeling of being watched grew stronger with every step we took. Our flashlights danced over the abandoned game stalls. A row of dusty teddy bears sat on a shelf, their button eyes seeming to follow our every move. Chloe jumped when a loose shutter banged against a wall somewhere nearby. "It's just the wind," Leo said, but he didn't sound so sure himself. The wind didn't sound like that. It didn't sound like it was whispering our names. The whole park felt like it was holding its breath, waiting for something to happen, and we had just walked right into its trap. I swallowed hard, my throat suddenly dry as a bone. We decided to check out the old roller coaster, the Goliath. Its tracks disappeared into the darkness of a man-made mountain. The entrance was boarded up, but a piece of plywood had been torn away, leaving a dark, gaping hole. This was it, the heart of the spookiness. A strange, musty smell drifted out from the opening, a smell of damp earth and something else, something old and forgotten. Leo aimed his light inside. It wasn't just the start of a ride, it was a tunnel leading deep, deep underground, and it was calling to us. "Are we really doing this?" Chloe asked, her eyes wide. But we were the Stromedy Squad. We never backed down from a mystery. One by one we squeezed through the opening and into the tunnel. The air instantly became frigid, biting at our skin. The sound of the wind outside vanished, replaced by a deep, humming silence. It was so quiet I could hear my own heart thumping against my ribs like a drum. The tunnel was made of rough, cold concrete, and it sloped downward, leading us further and further away from the light of the outside world. We followed the beam of Leo's flashlight, a single spot of courage in a sea of black. The walls were slick with moisture that dripped onto the floor, making a steady plink, plink, plink sound that echoed around us. It was the only sound besides our own nervous breathing. Then we heard something else, a faint scratching noise. It seemed to come from the walls themselves. We all froze, listening. Scratch, scrape, scratch. It was like something was trying to claw its way out. Or maybe it was trying to claw its way in, to get to us. Maya grabbed my arm. "Did you see that?" she whispered, pointing her own shaky light down a branching corridor. I squinted into the darkness. For a split second I thought I saw it too. A shadow. A tall, thin shadow that moved when we moved, that stopped when we stopped. It darted away just as my light hit the spot where it had been. It was gone. But the feeling it left behind was not. We weren't alone down here. The cold wasn't just from the damp air anymore. It was a cold born of pure fear, and it was sinking into our bones. We kept walking, trying to ignore the scratching sounds and the flitting shadows. We had to pretend we weren't scared. But I was. I was terrified. The tunnel twisted and turned, a maze designed to get us lost forever. We passed strange symbols painted on the walls, circles and lines that made no sense. It felt like we had been walking for hours. Just when I was about to suggest we turn back, Leo's flashlight beam landed on something up ahead. It was a heavy steel door set right into the tunnel wall, and from behind it we could hear a low rhythmic thumping. The steel door had no handle, no knob, no lock. It was just a solid slab of metal, but on the wall next to it was a small panel with 4 buttons, each marked with one of the strange symbols we had seen earlier. "It's a puzzle," Leo declared, a spark of excitement in his eyes. He recognized the symbols from the game stalls outside. One looked like the carousel horse, another like the Ferris wheel, a third like the Goliath roller coaster, and the last one looked like the teddy bear prize. He pressed them in that order: horse, Ferris wheel, Goliath, bear. There was a loud clank and a hiss of air. Slowly the heavy door groaned open. The thumping sound from inside grew louder. It wasn't a thump, we realized. It was a tick, tick, tock, tick, tock, a giant clock. We stepped into the room, our flashlights cutting through the gloom. The room was circular, and the walls were covered in wires and pipes. In the very center, on a huge concrete wall, were massive glowing red numbers. It was a countdown timer, and it was ticking down. Fast. It read 001000. 10 minutes. 10 minutes until what? We didn't want to stick around to find out. Panic started to set in. "We have to get out of here!" Chloe cried, turning back toward the door, but as she reached it, it slammed shut with a deafening boom. We were trapped. The red numbers on the wall seemed to mock us, their glow casting scary shadows all around the room. 00945, 00944. The air grew colder still, and the strange scratching noise started again, this time from inside the room with us. It was coming from the vents in the ceiling. We all looked up, our hearts pounding in our chests. Maya, always the calmest one, noticed something else. On the wall opposite the timer was another riddle, scrawled in white paint. It read, "I have cities but no houses, I have mountains but no trees, I have water but no fish. What am I?" We stared at it, our minds racing. The timer ticked down. 00830. "A map!" I shouted suddenly. "It's a map!" Leo rushed to the wall and saw a faint outline of the Funland Park map painted there. A single spot was marked with an X near the carousel. He pressed the spot, and a hidden panel beside the door clicked open, revealing a large red lever. The timer was under 5 minutes now, 00459, 00458. My hands were shaking so badly I could barely hold my flashlight steady. "What do we do?" Chloe asked, her voice trembling. Leo looked at the lever. It was our only hope. "Everyone together!" he yelled. We all grabbed onto the cold metal handle. It was stiff, refusing to budge. The scratching from the vents was getting louder, more frantic. It sounded like dozens of things were about to burst through. We had to pull harder, we had to work as a team. "Pull!" Leo shouted. We put all our weight into it, groaning with the effort. The timer dipped below 2 minutes. 00159. The red light bathed us in its terrifying glow. With a final desperate heave, the lever moved. A deafening siren blared through the room, so loud we had to cover our ears. On the far side of the room, a section of the wall began to slide away, revealing another tunnel. This one had emergency lights flickering on, showing us a path lined with stairs leading up toward freedom. We didn't waste a second. We scrambled into the new passage, the siren wailing behind us. The timer was almost at 00010, 0009. We raced up the stairs, our lungs burning, our legs aching. We could hear a rumbling sound from the room we just left, a deep, powerful vibration that shook the entire tunnel. 0003, 0002. We burst through a final door and tumbled out into the fresh night air. We were behind the carousel, its creepy horses staring at us. Behind us, the ground shook violently, and a cloud of dust billowed out of the tunnel exit before the door slammed shut on its own. We lay on the grass, gasping for breath, our adventure over. We had escaped, we had survived. But what was that timer for? What was the secret hidden beneath the old amusement park? As we looked back, we saw a faint light pulsing from deep underground, visible through a sewer grate. It was a strange green energy. We didn't know what it was, but we knew one thing for sure. Funland had a secret that was still awake, and we had just been the ones to reset its clock.